Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really profound journey, actually, back to World War II,
Right.
but maybe not in the way you expect. Not the big battles, not the grand strategies, not directly anyway.
hmm
Instead, our mission today is to piece together the life and, well, the ultimate sacrifice of one single individual, Lewis L. Barrett.
Yeah, and we've got some fascinating stuff to work with here.
We really do. A whole stack of unique sources, local newspaper clippings, some official documents, even a presidential honor certificate.
Pretty special.
Exactly. And the goal is to try and connect all these pieces, weave them together into, well, a story, a really human glimpse into one person's experience during this huge global conflict.
And that's just so important, isn't it, these individual stories? Because history, I mean, it's not just dates and numbers.
No.
It's built on the lives of people like Lewis. Focusing on one person helps us really grasp the human side of it all, bringing these forgotten experiences back.
Beyond just the facts and figures.
Precisely. We hope that by diving into Lewis's specific journey, you, the listener, can connect more deeply with what it was really like, the personal reality behind it all.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? The beginning, right?
Makes sense.
Lewis L. Barrett, born May 6, 1920, Frankfort, Kansas. Seems a world away from a world war.
It really does. And his draft registration card from 41, it gives us this really clear snapshot.
Okay.
He's 21 years old, and he's listed as a farmer, residing and working with his father, D.H. Barrett.
Right there on the family farm?
Yeah, at RFD1, Wetmore, Nemaha, Kansas.
Yeah.
RFD, that's Rural Free Delivery, basically a mail route for folks outside town limit.
Connecting those scattered farms.
Exactly. And get this, we even have his phone number.
No kidding.
Wetmore 2207. Might seem like a small detail, but it tells you something.
It does. What does it tell you?
Well, it suggests, he wasn't totally isolated. He had roots, deep roots, working the land with his family in this pretty tight-knit farming community.
That phone number is striking for that era, isn't it? In a rural place. Suggests a certain, maybe, connection, practicality for the farm.
It could well do.
Yeah.
And that community, they definitely knew him. We found this article in the Courier-Tribune dated January 28, 1943.
Okay, what's this one say?
It says he was honored at a potluck dinner held by the young people's Sunday school class at Oneida Methodist Church.
A church potluck send-off.
Yeah. For him and another young man, Lionel Ball, they were both preparing to leave for the Army. Imagine that scene, the whole community gathering.
It paints a powerful picture, doesn't it? That collective send-off acknowledging what was happening.
It's fascinating how these, really small local things, a church dinner, a newspaper, mentioned they mark this huge societal shift,
Yeah.
Young men going from civilian life, farm life, into military service. And the community is right there, cheering them on, but probably also worried sick. It really shows that communal side of wartime sacrifice. The whole town felt it when someone left.
And once the community saw him off, his journey really began. Took him far from Kansas pretty quickly.
It did.
We've got another Courier-Tribune clipping, November 1st, 1943. Says, after a short furlough, Lewis left that Saturday for an Army camp in Arizona.
Arizona. Quite a change from Kansas farming.
Definitely. Heading into that intense world of military training.
Yeah, and this is the start of it. The start of his military training, which, well, it leads him down a very specific path, a specialized and, frankly, incredibly dangerous role.
The transformation must have been immense. From farmer to what?
Well, the August 31st, 1944 article confirms he shipped out to England about 2 months before that date. So arrival around June 44.
Okay, so right in the thick of things after D-Day.
Exactly. And here's the key detail. He became a nose gunner on a bomber.
A nose gunner, wow. On a bomber, can you maybe explain what that involved? It sounds exposed right at the front.
Absolutely. It was one of the most vulnerable spots on the plane, particularly on a B-24 Liberator, which is what the article mentions later.
Oh.
You're basically encased in this plexiglass bubble at the very front, facing forward. High altitude, freezing cold air. Your job. Defend against head-on fighter attacks.
With machine guns.
Twin .50 caliber machine guns. Your view is totally unobstructed, but so are you. Completely exposed.
Wow.
And think about the conditions. The cold, even with heated suits, was brutal at 20,000 feet. The noise from the engines, the plane shaking, dodging flak, those anti-aircraft bursts.
Horrifying.
It demanded incredible courage, quick reflexes, and just an unbelievable tolerance for fear. Knowing a direct hit on the nose,
Yeah.
well, it would be catastrophic.
Just picturing that position, the vulnerability, the responsibility being that first line of defense, and the constant danger.
Day in, day out.
It really speaks volumes about the bravery needed for those missions. Not just a job, but constant courage. You really feel the stakes.
The stakes couldn't have been higher. Flying missions over occupied Europe, knowing the risks every single time, which makes the next part of the story even tougher.
Right, because the story takes a tragic turn here. Less than 2 months after he gets to England, his wife, Blanche Love Barrett, gets devastating news. Monday, August 31st, 1944.
Yeah, the government informs her that Staff Sergeant Barrett is missing in action, MIA, since August 12th.
Missing in action. That phrase alone.
It's brutal, isn't it? Not definitive.
Yeah.
Just uncertainty. An agonizing limbo between hope and grief. Could last months, even years for families.
And there's another layer to this, right? The newspaper mentions something about a letter.
It does. And it's heartbreaking. Blanche had apparently received a letter from Lewis, written on August 11th, the day before he went missing.
Oh, no.
In the letter, he mentioned he was going out on a mission the very next day. Imagine getting that letter, full of his words, maybe his plans, days after you know he's already gone missing on that exact mission.
The cruelty of delayed communication in wartime, that's just gut-wrench.
It puts you right there, feeling that delayed shock, that irony. So many families went through that.
And Blanche. They'd only been married early last spring, the paper says. So newlyweds, really.
Their time together as husband and wife was incredibly short.
She's staying with her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Chase Love, near Wetmore. And his parents, Mr. and Mrs. D.H. Barrett, living west of town. They'd all be thrown into this awful period of waiting and wondering.
Absolutely. It hits the whole family network instantly, changes everything, casts this long shadow.
And wait, it wasn't short for Lewis's family?
No, not at all. They lived with that uncertainty for years, nearly 6 years, holding on to hope, presumably.
6 years. Wow.
It wasn't until March 27, 1950, long after the war was over. That's when some kind of resolution finally came, a very somber one.
What happened then?
The Courier-Tribune ran a headline, "Honors to War Victim Scurdy Lewis L. Barrett." It detailed the plans for a group burial.
Group burial.
Yes, and it confirmed the details. Staff Sergeant, nose gunner, B-24, based in England. Plane went down over the North Sea. But critically, the remains of the crew had been recovered.
Okay, so after all that time, there was confirmation. Closure of a sort. That must have been incredibly important even years later.
Immense. Many families never got that. The recovery and identification process after the war was a huge effort. Sometimes remains couldn't be individually identified, especially with air crews.
So they buried them together.
Exactly. A group burial. It allows for a collective honoring. They served together, fell together, and are laid to rest together. The article says the service was set for 1:30 p.m. that Monday afternoon.
Where?
At the National Cemetery at Jefferson Barracks, Missouri. This is one of the oldest national cemeteries, a really significant place.
And the article lists family attending.
It does. And the list is long. It really shows you the impact.
Who is going?
Let's see. His mother, Mrs. D.H. Barrett, and his brother Arthur from Wetmore, Joseph Barrett from Oneida, Mrs. George Barrett from Centralia, Mr. and Mrs. Clarence Cook from Topeka, Mr. and Mrs. Rollin Barrett and their sons from Junction City, Clifford Barrett from Falls City.
Wow, quite a gathering.
And even military family members. Kemelgul George Barrett and Kibalo. Raymond Chance traveled all the way from Fort Knox, Kentucky.
That's incredible. That sheer number of people traveling, some quite far, all those years later. It really speaks to something, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows this wasn't just one family's private grief. It was a community shared loss, finally getting some form of closure.
A chance to heal, maybe?
I think so. These ceremonies, they're vital. They acknowledge the sacrifice, provide a focal point for grief, and sort of reaffirm those community bonds that held strong even through loss. It shows how the ripples of war spread so far for so long. These rituals matter.
And his memory, his service, it didn't end there in 1950. It continues to be remembered.
That's right. For instance, the American Air Museum in Britain, they actually have a photograph of one of the air crews Lewis served with.
A photograph. That's amazing. A real tangible link.
It makes him more than just a name, doesn't it? You see a face, part of a team. Museums like that do crucial work preserving these individual stories, making sure we don't lose the faces, the camaraderie. It humanizes it all.
Absolutely. And then there's the final piece we mentioned earlier.
Ah, yes, the Presidential Honor Certificate.
Awarded by a grateful nation in recognition of devoted and selfless consecration to the service of our country. Powerful words.
Very powerful. And this certificate, it's signed by Lyndon B. Johnson.
Right, LBJ. Which is interesting, isn't it? Lewis died in 1944. Johnson was president much later.
Exactly. That's decades later. What does that tell us?
Well, it seems to show that this recognition, this gratitude, it transcends the immediate time of the war, doesn't it?
It really does. These certificates, often issued long after the fact, sometimes posthumously, they symbolize that enduring national gratitude. The memory isn't forgotten.
It spans decades, different administrations.
Yeah, it cements their place in the national memory. It's a commitment from the nation, saying the sacrifice is still acknowledged, still honored long after the fighting stopped. A symbol that contributions like Lewis's, they last.
So bringing it all together for you, the listener, Lewis L. Barrett's story, we pieced it together from these different sources, that draft card with the phone number,
The local newspaper bits about his send-off, and then the final news.
official notices, that presidential certificate. It all creates this incredibly personal window into World War II sacrifice.
From a Kansas farm to the skies over the North Sea, his journey stands for so many others who answered that call, left everything, and didn't come home.
Yeah, and this deep dive really shows how even seemingly, I don't know, mundane things
Like a phone number or small news clipping.
can become the threads that weave together such a profoundly human story. It pushes us to look past just the dates and battles.
To the individual lives, the families, the communities, the interrupted lives behind every name on a memorial, every record. Their legacies resonate.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about the echoes of stories like Lewis's in your own life, maybe your own community. How do the choices, the sacrifices of people like him still shape our world? And what stories of service or sacrifice resonate in your own family history or right where you live?